Hey guys, Dropadooski here with a quick and dirty guide on the Whirlwind Barb for patch 2.4.3 in Diablo 3. Now when I say quick and dirty guides, what my intention here with these guides is to do something short, sweet, and to the point to tell you why a build is viable, what gear it's using, and whether or not you can expect to see it at the top of the boards next season. So, speaking to the Whirlwind Barbarian, with the recent changes to the types of maps you get in Greater Rifting, combined with the density being evenly distributed within these Greater Rift maps, and that's the new and the old ones, builds like the Whirlwind Barb and other density reliant classes in the game are going to come back into the meta. Now, when I say come back into the meta, I am not saying that Whirlwind is going to push rank 1. I would think that's very unlikely, and that Legacy and Nightmares, Long Barb, and Charge Barb will still push higher than this Barb. But if you're like me and you play Diablo every season, Charge Barb is getting old as hell. And so, I mean, Legacy and Nightmares is still really fun. It's relatively new in comparison to the Charge Barb, but old school barbarians love playing Whirlwind, and I'm super pumped to see it coming back. To give you a little bit more insight into why I think it'll be there, I've been looking on the PTR. I did a couple of test runs. This one is just a 76 because my gear isn't optimized or anything like that because nobody's been using Whirlwind for a long time. But you're seeing things on the leaderboards where there's actual top 100 slots with people that don't have upwards of 4,000 paragons or 3,000 paragons. You know, something that's more viable and more achievable in a season for your normal player. And when I say normal player, I mean like someone that plays pretty regularly but isn't pushing like rank 1. So that being said, let's jump over, take a quick look at the gear and a quick look at the PTR leaderboard so I can show you what I'm talking about. So this is the same old Barb that we're all used to, right? You've got your six-piece Wrath of the Wastes, combined with the Pride of Cassius, because without Ignore Pain, you're dead. So there's got to be some prioritization on cooldown with this build, as well as area damage. I mean, I think the last time Whirlwind was a viable build, area damage didn't work correctly. Now that it does work correctly, it's very, very important because density makes this build work. And with the new density and the new maps, it's something that can be run. So I would say I would prioritize area damage for sure on weapons, shoulders, and gloves. I don't have it here, but already mentioned that. Then get cooldown on the rings for sure, and cooldown on the weapons. So your ideal weapon would be, you know, a high damage roll, percent damage, cooldown reduction, area damage. The amulet. The amulet, you can go flexibly either way. It can be a Hellfire, and with Hellfire, there's a lot of different variations that I'm seeing. Some people are going all the way damage, all the way across the board. Some people are taking Superstition or Nerves of Steel, because it is fairly squishy. Like I said, if Ignore Pain goes down, then you're dead. So you want to probably have one of those passives if you don't have enough cooldown reduction to keep Ignore Pain up the whole time, but you want to keep it up. The bracers are also, I've seen some variations on, where they're using Ancient Parthenons and you have, like, you know, chill on hit or other things like that on your gear and weapons that will proc this thing. If you don't, I've seen a couple of runs that are running Nemesis bracers, just because the more packs with combined with the density, you're really shredding them down when you hit physical rotation on Convention of the Elements. Let's take a look at the cube. And it's pretty much as you would expect. You've got a Furnace here for the elite damage, Mantle of Channeling, which increases your toughness and also increases the damage you deal, and the Skull Grasp. Quickly, I want to touch on, they did make some changes for this new patch for the Saffron Belt, to where Overpower does increased damage and it stacks up to 20 times. It's no good. Nobody's using it. I tried to get it to work for hours, and it just wasn't helping the build. So we've left it out. The other change that has happened for the Barbarian is Overpower now has 3 stacks. So if we want to take a look at the skill itself, There it was. It has a max of 3 charges. So it used to have 2. This enables you to keep overpower up all the time. So that is another variation that you can have on the leaderboard. So right now I'm using Warcry for toughness. You could have overpower there with killing spree, increasing your damage, and that's up all the time if you get down, you know, using overpower correctly and not burning all the cooldowns. Quickly, let's take a look at the leaderboards to show you what I'm talking about. And yes, we're going to have to search for it. I'm going to tell you right now. There are a lot of people, like the number 1 dude, 4,000 Paragons. A lot of people up towards that top end of the board all have a lot of Paragons because this is the PTR and it's been a combination of all the seasons. But if you sift through it a little bit, you start getting to stuff that's a little more realistic. Like there's 1,400. I know that's still pretty high end, but it's definitely doable. He's up and done a 90. There is, let's keep cruising. There's a couple of 1,200s here with 82s, and 82 right now on non-seasonal or on non-PTR is still really high up on the board. So there's see, now we're getting into the 81s. We've got people with 886 Paragons, you know, 993. So, and pretty much everyone right now is testing Whirlwind. As we go through you'll see a couple of charges and a couple of lawns, but everybody at the top is playing with Whirlwind. So I would say that there's a lot of interest in this build still. It's really nice to see that with some of these changes it's coming back in. And I'm not sure if you can notice, but the DirectX 11 changes make the game look beautiful. So it looks great. If you have a chance to try the PTR or you decide to play next season, make sure to jump into your settings here and turn these all the way up and get your multi-sample up to eight times. And when you turn it on, you will see it looking so damn good. So anyways, that's the quick and dirty Barb breakdown guide. I will put the build itself, a link to the Diablofans build that I quickly threw together, in the description in the video. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. I'm going to be putting more of these out. Keep them short and sweet. And I plan on trying to put something out once a week. If not once a week, then as often as possible. Also, if you like watching streams, check me out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/dropadooski. I do Monday through Thursday Diablo 3 nights, and on Friday I do a random Blizzard game, so Hearthstone or D2 or StarCraft or Warcraft or whatever. So thanks again for watching, and happy grifting.